Hello everyone, welcome to Redbust US channel. Today, Trump just signed an executive order to ban entry of H1B and other visa holders. So we look at all those details in this short video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe for getting regular updates. Firstly, this is the executive order that was signed by Trump. As you can see on the White House website, the proclamation is the first one, and there's also second fact sheet that was released by Trump administration that tells, for merit-based immigration. So these are two things. We'll look at both of these in detail today. So the first one is why do we really need this ban? The justification that is in the executive order is stating that the unemployment rate is at the highest levels, 13.3%, which is slightly lower than last month. But if you look at the charts from 1948, right, as you can see in the graph, it's basically off the charts, right? So this is the highest ever, and this is a justification, that's been given. And the slow pace of U.S. economy for the recovery, and any foreign workers, arriving into the United States will create additional competition for U.S. citizens in the job market. So that's the rationale behind this executive order, and they call this as common sense when Trump talks about it, right? Now, who are all impacted with this is the second one, right? So these are all the visas that are impacted: H1B visa, H4 visa, L1A, L1B, L2, H2B visa, J1 visa. And it also continues the previous executive order that was issued by Trump on April 22nd that talks about new immigrants who got green cards and arriving into the US, right? So they are also banned. So that continues to be in effect as well. And this does not impact other visa holders like F1 visa, OPT, STEM OPT, B1, B2, TN visas, and other visa types, right? More in specific, right, are also existing green card holders who already are living in the US and have the green card. Now we look at each of the details on how it impacts, right? So if you look at, this is a summary table, right? How the whole thing looks like. So if you're an H1B visa holder and if you're outside the US and you do not have an H1B visa stamp, then you cannot enter US. That's the bottom line. It could be you just got it in 2021 season, and you plan to get stamping. Now you cannot get stamping anyways, or you went to your home country for visa stamping and you do not have a valid visa stamp, then you cannot enter. But if you are an H1B visa holder and you're outside the US, but you have a valid stamp, but you're just stuck because of travel restrictions, right? There is no flights, and so you could come back and there is no impact. So because you have valid visa, US visa or H1B visa, then you can come back. So the same thing applies. But if you're in a, I'm sorry, when if you're an H1B visa holder and you are inside the US and you have a valid approval notice, which is valid I-797 and the I-94, then there is no impact for you. So in short, all the most of the visa types that are in the US are not impacted. Now, same thing applies to H4 visa holders as well. So they say in the proclamation that H4 visa holders also create competition. This is because of H4 EAD or L2 EADs, right? They indicate the spouses also create, they impact the job market. So that's what they imply. So for that, they also prohibit entry of H4 visa holders as well who are outside the US and do not have a valid visa stamp. So H4 visa holders outside US, but if they have a valid visa stamp, then they can come back and there is no impact. And regarding H4 visa holders who are inside the US with valid, I-797 or approval notice and I-94, then there's no impact, right? You could continue to stay in the US. Also, if you're an H4 EAD, there is no impact as such for you. You could continue to work, as long as you have a valid EAD, there is no impact. You can apply for extension, all sorts of things as well. Now, looking at L1, L2 visas, right? Same thing, if you're outside the US and you do not have a stamp, you cannot enter. But if you have a valid stamp, then you can enter. And again, if you are inside US and with a valid approval and I-94, then there is no impact for you. Same is the case with L2 EAD, similar to H4 EAD. It works the same way. Now, who does it? Also looking at other visa types, right? H2B visa, these are other visas that are also banned. So same case as H1B visas. H2B visa, if you do not have a valid visa stamp, then you cannot enter. But if you have a valid visa stamp, sorry, if you do not have valid visa stamp, then you cannot enter. But if you have a valid visa stamp, then you can enter. You don't have an impact. Now, if you are inside US with approval documents, then there is no impact. Now, looking at F1 visa holders, it doesn't matter where you are, right? F1, F2 visa holders, it does not matter. There is no restriction as such in the executive order. Or if you're an OPT, STEM OPT does not impact you because you're technically an F1 visa status. does not impact you at all. Unlike if you're a J1 visa holder, the same restrictions apply. If you're outside US and no visa stamp, you cannot enter. And these are specific J1 visa holders who are actually coming for internships or summer camps and all sorts of things. Yeah, you can read the article that has all the details. And if you're inside US, it doesn't matter. And other visa types, right? All visitor visas, let's say your parents are coming to visit you, or you want to go for business meetings, it doesn't impact you. Also, if you're a T1, O1, TN visa, O1, other visas, they don't have any impact on all the visas, right? So this is a very, very shortened summary, I would say, we try to put in all the visa types, but we can't really put a comprehensive list. But definitely these are the ones that are restricted for sure, whatever we put in the table. Now, looking at the impact, right? Okay, you are in the US, and imagine you have your green card adjustment of status that's coming up, or you have your I-140 you need to file, or you need to apply for extensions. All of these, right? There are various forms that you need to file when you're in the US, when you are in the US. So there are no restrictions as such, because technically President Trump does not have any authority. This is what we looked in our fact check video. They don't have authority to do any of that. So, I mean, he cannot really change any of that, and there is no impact for this. So, if you have any of these processes going on, perm processes going on, or extensions, anything, right? Anything to do with USCIS within the US, there is no impact as such. So if you're in the US, you're good. Now, what are the exceptions, right? So these are the categories that are exempted from travel ban. Green card holders. This is from the previous as well, right? If you already have a green card, lawful resident, you don't have impact. Or if your spouse or child of US citizen, then there's no impact. And also, if you're part of a temporary labor services that is, helping US food supply chain, then there is no impact, right? And anybody that the State Department or they think that it's of national interest, then they can actually give exceptions to them, right? So this is the whole blanket statement. There's no specifics on that, but anything in interest, and also whatever has been in the previous order continue to be there. For example, healthcare workers, all of them, they follow the same thing that was out there, right? So they're all part of the executive order. It continues to be there. Now, it does not apply to asylum seekers, or refugees who fall under these circumstances, right? So this is also as part of that, executive order, they clarified that. Now, when does this start? So this technically the old one that was already in place, that continues. There is no stop on that. But the new one for H1B, L1, all these visa types, right, that are effective, this will start impacting from June 24th, 12:01 a.m. Right? That's pretty much and what happens is technically if you do not have a visa stamp today, you don't have an option to get visa stamping, because consulates are not going to give you option to get visa stamping then for all these visa types. Yeah. So this is all about the entry ban. Now let's look at the H1B changes that are coming in, right? So this is what that's been released in the fact statement, that they said that they'll prioritize high skilled workers and to protect American jobs. And and they say it's in a merit based system, right? So they're going to reform the entire H1B visa program. This is what they're told. And there have been many speculations that they'll increase the fees to $20,000, or they will only put in $250,000 cap for filing H1B visa. All so many rumors, right? But they're all not really true, So I mean, Trump administration tries to exaggerate and then tone it down. So they are definitely reforming the H1B program, and this has been on their agenda for a long time, in the unified agenda. So this is not new. So they're going to do that, and they'll prioritize highest wage workers. So that's all they say. It doesn't mean $250,000, right? To make sure high skilled applicants are admitted. And they said they will fix the loopholes in the immigration system or the work visa programs that replace American workers. So these are all the some of the processes in perm process as well that are considered as loopholes, right? So they're going to look at all of these things, and it's been instructed for USCIS and DHS and Department of Labor to look at all of these. So these were anyways part of their agenda. They just that they're going to push aggressively, right? And also regarding H480, there is nothing in specific, but I'm sure these are all part of their bigger agenda, right? So we'll have to see what will come out on that. So that's about it, folks. Hope you got a good idea of what's happening. Definitely thank you for watching, and do subscribe for updates. I will continue to bring in any updates on these lines.